You're listening to Teacakes on the Sis podcast, sharing little bites of life. Hey y'all, assalamu alaikum, this is Sister Hoff, and today I'm going to be talking about silence and space that provides healing. One of the things that is really common in the West, it affects the East as well, is that people don't know how to sit in silence. And I'm not talking just about always being social. I grew up in a big family, there's always commotion and someone talking, but we don't know how to just chill. We have to have the radio on, people have to have music playing or something going on. We don't know how to be in silence. Part of it is that people aren't used to it, and so they don't want to make changes on that. The other part of it, in some aspects, depending on the person, is they're afraid of it, being stuck and alone with your own thoughts and your own emotions and having to deal with them. But in my experience, again, it took a long time to figure this out. In my experience, sometimes you need that time of quiet. You need that space from people to go somewhere. I know scholars say it, and psychiatrists and psychologists and all kinds of people say it, that when you're angry and upset, or someone else is very angry and upset and being irrational, the best thing to do is to go away from that situation, get out of that space to calm down, to bring you to your senses, or giving somebody else space to be able to calm themselves down. Of course, I know a lot of men that are actually better at this because they know that maybe their rage is going to go crazy and they want to control it and not lash out. That and women be crying, and some men can't handle the women crying and stuff like that. But I think that we need to practice that more, being able to step away from those situations. But I'm also talking about when you're not angry, when you literally have nothing going on, you don't feel anything, there's just quiet, like car rides. I was the person who used to think I can never live without music. I must always have music playing and I can't be in a car that's quiet. And now it's silence. Most of the time when I'm in the car, I'm driving in quiet. And yeah, I'm stuck with my own thoughts. I totally get distracted with my own thoughts. So distracted driving is not just because you have a phone or something playing or whatever. Sometimes I'm just distracted because I'm just thinking. There's always something going on in my head. But several years ago, I made the decision to stop listening to music. Just flat out. All of it. All the music, I cut all of it. And when I tell people, they're usually like, their jaw hits the floor, and they're just like, what? I can't live without music. And I'm like, it's so funny because when I was in high school, that's exactly what I said. That's what I said for a long time, even after then, and stuff like that I didn't think I could live without it. But when I sat in the silence, I had to accept who I am, what my emotions are, what I'm experiencing. And if I'm not having emotions, I'm fine. Like I'm not having like a spike of emotions. When I'm listening to music, my mental health improved drastically when I cut off music. But when I listened to music, it controlled my emotions. It really did. It affected me. Like, I'm not angry, but I listen to angry music and I'm angry. I'm not sad, I listen to sad music and I'm sad. I'm just sitting there chilling, I listen to music that makes me be like, oh my gosh, I need to be madly in love with somebody and this needs to be the situation, and just this whole fairy tale fantasy that happens in your mind. Or you listen to something and it makes you want to dance or something like that, and it's not always an appropriate time and place. And me and my belief and my opinion is that I don't dance in front of other people. I just don't. Not because I think I'm a terrible dancer, but I don't want people looking at my body. It ain't their business. I'm just going to keep my own thing to myself. If no one's looking, maybe I do a little twirl here and there in my own kitchen or something like that, but it's something I keep to myself. And when I cut music out, I wasn't doing that anymore. I had to have silence. And now I need it. I crave it to have that quiet and have that space. And like, if I go into like a store, like I'm shopping and the music is like absurdly loud, not like some quiet background stuff, it drives me nuts. I get uncomfortable, and I have left stores. I have actually left stores, didn't even look at stuff because the music was just too loud and too in my face, and I'm like, I can't do this because I chose to cut it out. Again, my mental health improved, and some people are like, oh, but when I listen to this music, it helps me with like my emotions or something. I'm like, well, that's the problem. That is, to me, that is a problem, is that It's not just music, it's having a TV in the background or whatever, going to places that are noisy when you have the option to be in quiet, right? Because you're faced with yourself. You're faced having to process your emotions and how you're feeling. Like if I need to cry, I want that to come from within me, not from listening to a song that was sad. I want to be able to discover that for myself, to find it, to dig through whatever I have to dig through. And again, this is where the fear part comes in, that I think people are afraid of having to do that, afraid of having to go through that. But you get used to it. It becomes this safe space for you then, all of the sudden, where, hey, I can go to my space, I can be quiet, I can tune out people, tune out things. I mean, there's been times if I need the earplugs, I'm going to put the earplugs in because I can't get in absolute silence. Or what I really, really love personally, I love nature, I love hiking, but going somewhere there's nature. Obviously, we are comfortable. Some people don't like bugs, so don't go in places where there's bugs, especially in summer. Or, keep yourself protected with whatever you need to. But just go there and listen to just nature. Even if it's like there's cars in the background or something, just listening. And this is part of I've heard, you've probably heard mindfulness, and this is not a new concept at all. People have been practicing this in different religions for years and years. It's stopping and being in the moment and being present and being aware of what's around you. So when I cut out all those distractions, I cut out the TV, I cut out the music, I cut out the crazy stuff going around that I could, and I just would sit there and I would listen. I would hear the birds, hear the crickets in the summertime, hear a train in the background, depending on where you live, and maybe hear the cars on the road, and just like processing the world and what's happening in the moment and what's going on there. And it helps me to slow down and to be able to heal whatever I had going on, and I wasn't putting a band-aid on it. I think that's what sometimes these things and these noises is, just putting a band-aid and not dealing with what we have to deal with. It's hard. I know it's hard in a lot of circumstances to deal with those things, but it is possible. And that silence, you really find, it's not just like a therapeutic, but it's definitely very healing, because you're able to just allow yourself to exist and not be controlled by an external environment in those cases. I hope you gained something from this and learned, inshallah, and I hope you have a happy, healthy, and spacious day and week. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.